guys see the Cam Newton and Michelle's interview? Did y'all see little clips? I saw a couple little clips, and I found one that was even better. Or crying.
Yeah, I saw MTR react to it, so I watched that, and then he started going in, so I had to go find the actual full thing. So
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, bet. So let's watch this little clip of her talking about the black families. Okay.
In Atlanta all this time and then going to Nashville where it's predominantly white. One, they go home at 5 and 6 o'clock when they're producing because they go home to their families. Being a country singer, if you are a singer in country music, you're a man. If you are not married, it is not respected. Family is respected in country music in that space. But in our space, we are singing about side chicks. We are glorifying a lot of women. That's not what happens in Nashville. You can't call a woman a bitch or hoe in Nashville because they'll never even listen to your music and your professional career will suffer. At what point in the black community do our men create real homes? Black men to really step up for black women and create families.
When I saw that, I thought it was pretty funny. But she did drop some stuff. Can the black men create real homes? Okay. First, she was comparing it to country. And I kind of get it, though. I don't really hear country songs bashing women, bashing men, talking vulgarness and stuff like that, right? So can the black men create real homes too? And then also in the podcast, they were talking about two-parent households and all of that. And, Cam Newton also said, he talked about his relationship, and he said basically a man and a woman being in the household, not really the dynamics of a two-parent household where they're together, but just having a male and a woman's presence. So what's your intake on that? Anybody can go first.
I definitely think she's trying to appease her audience that's not listening to her in the country space. I don't agree with that. I think that if you do listen to country music, you would know that there's certain artists that have like sexually explicit songs. They still do sexual innuendos in their music. So I don't 100% agree with that because I listen to country music too, and there's definitely like some. I wouldn't say like I understand she's with like the raunchiness, I guess, but I wouldn't say that correlation makes sense to me.
I do feel like she has valid points. I mean, but I do feel like it just goes off of the cultural norm that's around in the media sense, right? So our norm is, clubbing and doing all that ratchet stuff as a community. It is. That's what we normalize. We normalize the sexy reds. We normalize all of these things. So I feel like, she has some valid points.
What is it valid about it with regard to the overall message as far as like black men need to be more responsible for creating families?
nothing.
Well, in that regard, I do, but I don't agree in the regard that black men are the responsible cases. Because I do believe that it takes a woman to choose a good black man in order for a family to succeed. But I do understand as far as the music cultural aspect of everything.
Why is it always on a woman? I'm mad confused right now.
All right, I'm not gonna let this go too far because at the end of the day, he just said she has to choose. If you have the ability to choose, you have the responsibility. So so if the woman has the ability to choose and she's responsible, and then they're the responsible ones for creating 80% of the divorces, like you're responsible for that. You can't have the choice and then negate responsibility. That those things don't separate. That's the biggest issue.
Well, wait. Before we get into that, let's hold off because we see the sexy reds, we see the glorrillas, we see the Meg Thee Stallions, we see them actually being some of the most popular people within the culture. So if we talk about glorifying it, before we even get to the relationship aspect of it, if we talk about glorifying it, and let's be clear, they really live in their music. If you seeing what's happening with Meg Thee Stallion, They really live in this. You know what I'm saying? So if we really want to look at it holistically, even from a cultural perspective of what we promote within our music, why don't we mention them? Because one of the things she was saying was like, oh no, country music, you wouldn't get no play. I haven't really heard no K Michelle songs that was just wholesome and awesome. And I haven't heard any of our artists that are females that's really carrying the torch for what is so great. I mean, I hear the bust your windows out your car and hotels and all of that stuff. I don't hear anybody that, from a woman's perspective, that's carrying the culture forward and trying to advocate for strong families. So I'm really trying to understand, before we even start to hold accountability from a relationship perspective, why don't we mention those artists? Jess, I see you confused up there.
But the part I want to touch on is the relationship aspect of it. So I'm gonna step.
We'll go to the relationship. We'll proceed on that part. Okay, go ahead, baby. Go ahead. You can touch on the relationship aspect of it.
Oh, okay, my bad. I didn't know if you were saying I could go now. But yeah, I'm not confused. And before we say that the onus is on men to create strong families, I'm going to say yes. But then also, before the Daniel lights come after me, we also need to talk about the women too. So, but we're not going to say that it's solely the women and they choose, right? Last time I checked, it took more than just a woman to procreate and have a baby. Last time I checked, it took an egg and a sperm to make something. So it's not just on a woman to choose. Now, I will say this, as it relates to relationships and creating strong families, it's both of them. I do think that we as a Black community don't value marriage, and we don't value relationships, and we don't value strong families. For the life of me, I cannot understand why we allow people to procreate. And I'm speaking for a woman because I'm a woman. I can never understand why women will allow a man to procreate with them, but not marry them. There is no way on God's green earth that I'm allowing a man to procreate with me if he's not even willing to walk me down the aisle and make me his wife.
Depends on how much money.
That is an issue that we need to address.
Depends on how much money he got.
Then also, as it relates to marriage, a lot of times in Black relationships, I feel like we try to marry for love, and sometimes you need to grow in love. Meaning that sometimes you need to do what's best, even though you may not love that man right off the rip. That's something you can grow to do. So yes, it is on men because men are the head and women are the neck. But at the same time, both people need to get it together. Stop letting him shoot the club up, and you stop wanting that woman. Wow. But I'm going to just let it go right there.
So just with that being said, and we still talking about women though, because if the men ain't there, we are creating the men that are doing these things. And if we the ones divorcing and leaving at the highest rate, then the accountability is still on us. But we're creating the men that we complain about.
You know, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, what Gorilla say? If he don't want the baby, don't keep it. So I probably didn't quote that word for word.
Girl, not you quoting the exact rappers we're talking about.
But on the same token,
terrible.
On the same token, I could never understand why a woman would bring a baby. One, why she put herself in a situation, but why would you bring a baby into this world that the man don't want? Why would you allow yourself to be a single mother? Like these things, I'm mad confused about it. I could never understand.
Well, usually they don't find out he don't want it till after the fact.
Y'all should have been married. Period.
Well, we got to start all the way back before we talking about a baby. But no, it's women. It's women.
Yeah.
Made up my mind.
So
it's us.
The fact that you even like
if we're not even having the baby, then it's not even an issue no more.
The problem
we're saying that
is, I'm sorry, Cam. Go ahead, Cam.
My bad. I was just saying, like, Jess, you're literally quoting the exact rappers and then backdoor saying that we need to have a mentality that's opposite of the rappers that y'all are listening to on an everyday basis. Glorilla and Sexy Red aren't getting married. So to listen to that and put that into your spirit, but then tell somebody
I
else,
just
or
took one
even like,
quote. I just took one quote that was relevant.
no, I know, but I'm saying like I personally don't listen to her, so it's like to pull the quote out, even like in funny conversation, it's like proving a point. Like it is in your everyday life, even
It's
subconscious.
ingrained.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like even
like it's
subconsciously, like
ingrained.
even you just said it like as a joke, just to put into the conversation, but it's like it's subconsciously in you to say something like that, even though their narrative does not push getting
But
married.
is it a joke when even the president Kamala Harris brought them on stage to represent her in at an office? So my whole thing is it's not a joke, because that is the representation that is out here, right? These are the women that is being presented and representing the masses of the Black women. It is the wigs and the nails and the lashes and the booty shaking, and that is the representation of the Black woman today. You know what I'm saying? And that is the culture of it.
Oh, white women don't wear wigs and makeup and nails.
I'm not saying that it doesn't, but that's our culture, though. But that's our culture. We're known for that. It's not that nobody else does
They
it. It's just
got it
that we're
from
known for
somewhere.
it.
Yeah, they got it from us. But the issue,
no, we got it from them.
No, we're not addressing the actual issue. The issue is not about what we should be doing after the fact. We need to start being proactive. We're looking in retrospect too much, and we need to being 10 steps ahead. Instead of us being like, oh, why would we lay down with a man and have a baby for him, get rid of the baby, et cetera, that's counterproductive. We need to be, hey, how about we vet this person and see if this is someone that I can even be friends with first. Let me see if this is someone that I actually like. Let me see how much chemistry we have. And then go from there, instead of it being like, oh, abortion, AD has to be an option or any of that. Like, none of that should even be in our minds to be drilling into people, trying to say like, oh, this is the way to prevent us from being a baby mama or a baby daddy. The way to prevent it is by accurately vetting people and seeing, does this fit or does this not fit? And instead of it being like what you were saying, Jess, you growing in love, not that's been the issue. People have been in so much survival mode that people are literally picking and choosing who's the best suitor to just provide. Nobody's thinking about anything else. Do they actually want, like them? Can they be in their presence long enough to be pleasant enough for that person to still want to be with you, and not bring in something else where it's like, oh, that woman or that man starts cheating on you, and then that's a whole issue, and then you start having other things going on. Like, it's so many other things that people are not addressing, and that is the confusion. It's not confusing to say, is it the man's job or the woman's job? The confusing part is, why isn't anyone else thinking about how we can be 10 steps ahead?
Yeah, you gotta be. We're not strategically. Women need to be strategically getting chosen. Like, you hear people say date with purpose and all that. No, and I say chosen because first of all, we shouldn't be out there looking for a man. We need to be working on ourselves. And when it's time, but he's not going to send these women what they want, because we're not strategizing, even with getting our credit together, getting our finances together. Like, we don't have to be rich, but a man also don't want that burden either. And we got a lot of issues that we need to work on that we have been ignoring because we've been passing the buck and blaming men for everything.
But do men have multiple kids? Do men not have issues too? Do men not have multiple baby mamas? I'm just confused how it always ties down.
Because I'm saying that, well, I already said we're the one we're raising them.
We have more children as Black women. We have more out of wedlock children than the men do anyway.
Correct.
So even if the even for people, No. It's not to say that it's not the man's fault, but to understand that as the woman, we're the ones that are going to experience the pregnancy and be going through these things. One would think that you would be more hyper vigilant to make sure you don't get pregnant because of the fact that you're the one at the end of the day that's going to have to, share the brunt of the baby and everything else because you're the woman. So it's basically saying, as the woman, you need to be more proactive in your body so that you don't allow yourself to be in a situation that you don't want to be in for the rest of your life.
So is that kind of productive to allow a woman to get rid of the baby? Is that also not a viable option as well? I will say this:
No.
I am pro-choice.
No, that's absolutely not.
But why bring a baby into poverty? Why bring a baby into a single parent household? Why bring a baby into
let her finish. Let her finish.
To me, that really does not make sense. And as a woman, I can proudly speak, right? There's so many preventative ways. I can never understood how a woman just ends up pregnant, right? There's apps, there's birth control. There's so many different things that you could do to track your cycle. Use protection. Stop letting this man shoot the club up. There's so many different ways that a woman can do to prevent a pregnancy. So I'm just confused as to how, when a woman does become pregnant and the situation isn't ideal, how we're seeing it, that's something that's wrong with that.
Why does that embryo have to suffer because of what she did?
But let me finish this out though, and I can one mic. This is one of the reasons why I don't have children right now. Is because I'm not allowing a man to procreate with me or have a baby with me if he's not made me his wife. I have not had any abortions. I have not had any children that I've sent to heaven, and I have not been pregnant, and I will not be until a man has made me his wife. I can probably say that, and I can speak to this situation because so many ways to skin a cat. Exactly. So now,
why we can't promote adoption?
Hold on.
Promote adoption?
Let me go ahead and just speak to this, because me and you, we're on two completely different sides of the spectrum, right? You've never had to deal with any of that, right? I've also never had to deal with ABs. I've never dealt with none of that. What I did was I've actually taken accountability for the times that I laid down, busted wide open for any of the men and got pregnant for. I didn't say, hey, let me get rid of this child because I'm not in the best situation. I didn't say, hey, let me kill this life. I didn't say none of that. I said, you know what? I'm going to be a woman. I'm going to put my big girl panties on and I'm going to do the damn best that I need to do. And what I did was I ended up having 3 children. One of them that was actually in a marriage. That marriage did not go well. 2 of them children was out of wedlock. My last 3 was in wedlock. So my 2 that wedlock, I decided as a woman, this is my responsibility. This is me taking accountability. It was
How many kids you got?
I have 6 altogether. And only 2 of them was out of wedlock. So with this whole thing with you saying that women should just be getting rid of it, no, that's where your lessons come into play. Because women, like how I was, are hard. No, women are hard-headed. And y'all need y'all damn lessons. And you've been avoiding it, and I'm proud of you. I'm very happy. But guess what? There's other women that's not like you that need those heavy lessons of knowing how to take care of somebody, knowing how to get it out of the mud, and knowing how to put yourself in a better position where you can be valuable to a man to be able to get a ring on your finger. You don't want to keep going on through your life having these hard lessons and just keep busting it open, and then you want to say abortion, 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 abortion. That's crazy. That's irresponsible. That's insane. You need to do what you need to do. Pick up the bag you done dropped and keep it pushing. It's no reason to sit there and then try to judge people for the ones that don't get abortions. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Now, can I say something real quick? Now, while I am pro-life, I don't 100% agree, Carmaya, only on the point of like that you need the baby to learn a lesson. That's the only thing.
No, not the baby. No, not saying that you need. Wait, what are you saying?
I guess I heard, I guess what I interpreted you saying was like they should keep the baby in the under the guise of like you need to learn the lesson, so that keeping the child to learn the lesson. But I'm saying, even being pro-life, I think we need to have that conversation pre-baby, so that you're not using the baby as like why you got your life together, or like the purpose, basically. Like, I don't think that pressure should be on the child for like, this is your reason to do better and be better. I think that should be there pre-baby.
Yeah, because
right, but that's what I was. But I am for that as well, Cam. But what I'm saying is, you can't go retrospect and be like, oh my God, I have a baby now. What am I going to do? Oh, I can't have a baby right now. Oh, let me go to this clinic and get rid of the baby.